Alright, so these are Hiro Mashima's two new spin-off series from Fairy Tail. One is Ice Trail, just a story of Gray as a kid traveling, which shouldn't be too long. I believe he immediately went to Fairy Tail, or he just went around asking who are the strongest wizards. He heard Fairy Tail, he traveled to Fairy Tail, boom, that's it. But apparently it took longer than I thought, so, now it's his journey. And the other one, Fairy Tail Zero, just the backstory of Mavis and how she formed the Fairy Tail Guild. And immediately, for both of them, I noticed a couple of pages seem to have lesser quality of art. What I mean is, they seem rushed in certain places. I don't know, maybe that's just so Hiro can focus more on the original Fairy Tail manga. But it shouldn't be that way, I guess, because I believe these are monthly. But there's definitely something I can notice about the art rather quickly. And what I find funny is in both of them, it just shows that Fairy Tail is the nicest guild there is, because apparently every other guild is just an asshole, even to its own members. Which I find ironic. With Mavis, it's understandable. And again, I guess with Gray's first meeting with a wizard guild, it may also make sense because they're isolated, they're in the mountains. So you gotta admit, they're up to something shady if they're all the way out there in the middle of nowhere. But with Mavis, I've liked that back in the past that there was no magic council. There was no law and order to being using magic. They're just mages guilds can just start having wars with each other, like ambush, okay, and start killing each other. It's like, damn, Mavis's past was lawless. There was no order, and it just makes me more interested in the past than I do in the present. In the present Fairy Tail is placed in, because I want to know more about this lawless magic world. It's just like, as long as you have magic, you can do whatever the hell you want. There's no council, there's no rules, no police. Just like, hey, we don't like you, we're gonna kill you all. Okay. But Mavis definitely had a bad background. She was originally a member of this Red Lizard Guild due to the fact that her parents were members. So at least we know where Mavis came from, and that her fascination with fairies came from stories that her parents told her. If you cry, fairies will never visit you. They only like smiles and happiness. Which, in a way, is kind of cruel to tell to a child. It means, like, no matter how someone hurts you or no matter what happens, just keep smiling. Don't ever cry. It's like, no, go ahead, cry. But she does, because she loses a friend rather early. Not much of a friend, though. I mean, they just, like, oh my god, we're under attack, you're saving my life, we're friends now. Like, okay. But she dies, like, okay. It's like, damn, they killed off a child right there. Like, okay. Jesus, take it easy. But originally Tenro Island wasn't an isolated island that Mavis discovered. It was apparently one of many islands that wizard guilds were placed on. And also, apparently, the original three members, Makura's father, Master Hades, and I'm forgetting his name, the guy who became a saint. Apparently, they already knew each other before they met Mavis. So, I guess it's a good aspect of it, because it makes it look like Mavis is not the center of attention. This whole idea of Fairy Tail wasn't just her, and she was the glue holding everything together. These guys already knew each other. They already had a purpose, a common goal, and I like that. I want to see more of that. With Gray's travels, we meet a girl, but of course we never see her in the future, so we feel like she's not important. Why should we get to know her? Could have been, more powerful if it was just Gray traveling and he ran into a bunch of guys who attacked him. But no. We need a story for Gray, and this girl has magic that can move time forward, but only for eggs. And again, that makes magic kind of weird, at the fact that to certain people, magic is limited to what they're born with. They can't learn different types of magic. Or maybe she can, and that's the only magic she's been allowed to learn by this boss of hers, this guild master that they come into, who's called Nez Booms. That's an interesting name, Nez Booms. Okay, and his power is... I don't know what his power is. It has nothing to do with time. He creates this time orb, but it just blows up on someone once it reaches 0, but... Who knows what these powers are? There's no real explanation to magic. It's just magic. Just let it happen. But other than that, you can tell the gray one is... It feels like there's not much work put into it. It's just the fans love him. Let's take advantage of that. Boom, it's gray. You love him. It's Kid Gray. You're going to love him. There, Kid Gray. With Mavis, it seems like there's more heart to it. Like... Hiro really wanted to tell this story. He wanted to tell the backstory of Mavis and how Fairy Tail was born. So you can definitely tell there's a little more heart and effort put into that one than there is in the Gray storyline. But either way, you can tell there's minor differences in the art of both of these new spin-off series compared to the original Fairy Tail. And I don't know if that's because it's monthly and they're not putting much work into it, or because... they're just trying something new, or they're just going back to form for these two spin-offs. Or maybe Hiro's not the one drawing it. Maybe he's just the one writing the story. Who knows? But either way, these are decent. Mostly the Mavis one is the far more interesting one, because that's actually one that explains a lot of Mavis and maybe even Luminous story. Maybe we're going to learn what it is from this one and how it's going to play in the future story, or not. Who knows? But it's definitely one of the more interesting of the two. Aistra is just more of a cash grab. It's everyone loves Gray. Let's make a spin-off series of Gray as a kid in his travels before he got to Fairy Tail. Okay, that's probably not going to be that long, but let's go for it, you know? Either way, these are good. But if you had to choose, like, you don't have enough time to read both, go with Fairy Tail Zero. That's probably the more interesting one. And if you really love Gray, go for Ice Trail. You're gonna like that one. It's Gray as a kid. He's cute. Boom. Either way, they're nice. I don't know if I'm gonna continue doing reviews for these two. If I do, it's just gonna be both chapters into one video. Either way, bye. I'm Tony Dragon.